excited to be here.
To empower women, and we need to empower each other. We need to be there for each other. This is what GLAM stands for, in case anybody here is not familiar, where we empower the world, one woman at a time. Founder Jennifer Phillips, please stand.
In 2012, I commissioned as an officer in the Air Force and moved from, 23, I moved my entire life, just me, from Michigan to California. So I left the Air Force and then started working at a hospital. In the meantime, I got married, and for 14 months of our 2.5-year marriage, she was having an affair. My life literally fell apart, and I was a therapist, right? Supposed to know it all. I literally was on the floor in between patients crying. My friends had to come and get me out of bed in the morning. It was such a struggle for a while. And after our divorce in 2016, he kept contacting me. And in the midst of it, I did not realize until February that I was in severe narcissistic abuse. How many of you have struggled with feeling enough? We've all struggled with that. And it's all about our mindset. I was letting my ex-husband write my story of my life for the last 6 years. Everything I did, every decision I made was because I wanted to please him even after he divorced me, right? So it doesn't matter if it's relationships, careers, health, whatever it is. I'm here today to talk about the 5-step system that I developed myself during my personal journey over the last 6 years. You are enough. I am enough. We are enough. Just as we are, in whatever season we're in. And the more we celebrate that and focus on that, the more free we become. So thank you guys so much for your attention and participation. And again, Jennifer, thank you so much for having me here. Have fun!
We are seeing people struggling to understand mental health and stay mentally fit. So who better to learn some new tools and skills from than a firefighter? Love it.
Who's having turnout coat envy right about now? You guys are cold, aren't you? Yeah, I never thought I'd be happy to wear this in the summer, but right now I think I'm going to keep it on. So I'm Michelle Laniak. I was a Tucson firefighter, also a paramedic, and an engineer, which means I drove the fire trucks. Yeah, I did that, thank you. Retired in 2011. I had my undergraduate degree in psychology from the U of A when I got on the fire department. And then I realized during the time on the fire department that there's a reason there's a 20-year retirement, because it's a stressful job. So what we've learned is the left side of the brain is the logical side. That's where all your logical function is. The right side is your emotional side. And normally, if the brain develops correctly, there's a lot of communication. So the blood flow is going like this. But what happens when we get stressed or we get into our sympathetic nervous systems, that's our fight or flight symptoms, the blood flow shuts off. So a lot of what I deal with I see clients for all kinds of stuff, anxiety, depression, all those kinds of things. But a lot of what I deal with is trying to, like what Megan was saying, you want to restructure the brain so that you get into your parasympathetic nervous system, and then you can think a lot clearer. No, because the brain is the most complicated organ of our body. And we shame people when they need to take their medicine. And we shame ourselves if we need to take our medicine. And that is a big problem that we're having, because if people with addictions were taking the right medicines, they wouldn't need the wrong ones. So if anything I want you to take away from this, in order to work with your brain on a cognitive level as a therapist, that's an organ and it needs to be working right. And if it's not, go get a physical. You know, if you start to have symptoms of depression, anxiety, a private practice up in Oro Valley. I don't force any of my clients to take medicine. Okay, I just educate on all the options and all the reasons why something might not be going the way you want it to go. Thank you very much for having me. And I love that you're doing this.
Our next speaker is Jennifer Phelps. I'm a huge fan, love her. She is so inspirational. She's so good with organization. She has so many gifts. Is your space like your fire? So Jennifer Phelps, owner of Jennifer Phelps, organize, design, reinvent.
Give me the control, baby. I need control. Okay, well, I just did my exercise. Thank you, Michelle, for telling me to get exercise, because that was it for today, I tell you. I try not to do that when public speaking. Jen called me and she said, so Jen calls me and says, Jen, we have an identity crisis when we talk to each other. She said, hey, I want you to do this thing, but I want you to talk about something totally different you never talked about before. I'm like, okay. Awesome. So the question is, does your space light your fire? Whether your empire that you're building is running a home, running a business, or both. But sometimes we're not clear on what's a good relationship and what's a bad relationship. Whether that's romance, family, friends, business partners, right? So if I were to say, you know, this relationship it's just not working for me. You don't support my goals. You make it difficult for me to get things done. You embarrass me around my friends. And God forbid I should bring my clients or my work colleagues anywhere near you. Would that be a good relationship or a bad relationship? So I'm a professional organizer. Really, for me, professional organizing is secondary. It's just a tool in my tool belt. Because I consider myself more like a relationship counselor for you and your space. That your environment, your home or your office, is a silent partner in your life. So I have a little silent partner story. So I had just had, oh my God, a huge, big, ugly, hairy, nasty liberation from a relationship. It was kind of like everything, right? Except here I was in this house, and I'm looking around, and I am suffering, and I am struggling financially, physically, emotionally, in every possible way. And I'm looking around about this house had, like my ex, so much potential, but just just made me feel bad about myself. I use the word reinvent in my name because I know what it's like to reinvent yourself, right? So if you were to think about your own home or your office, would you say, generally, that it's your happy place or more like a bad relationship? Does your house say, when you come home, when you're leaving in the morning, oh my gosh, baby, you are amazing. You are awesome. You're gonna go out and knock them dead today. Don't worry about anything here. I got you. How about when you come home, do you say to your house, oh my gosh, I missed you so much. I just come home and I just feel so relaxed. I just want to throw myself into your armchair. No? Does your closet say, awesome? Does your closet say, oh my gosh, you make awesome look effortless? And if your ex saw you in that, it'd make him cry. Does your bedroom say, oh, it's so nice to have you here. Whatever you want, baby. Nookie or just a nap. I'm here for you. How about your office? Does your office say, you are so good at what you do. You're really changing people's lives. It's awesome that you do what you do, and I'm gonna be here for you. I'm gonna have everything ready here for you that you need at your fingertips. You know what? You are gonna go out and kick butt and make a ton of money. Does your office tell you that? The one thing you need to do more than anything else is to clear the negative. Clear the negative. My name is Jennifer Phelps. You guys are awesome, amazing rock stars. You have the power in you, yourself. I'm happy to help if you need me. Jennifer Phelps. Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and introduce you to the Journey to Live More. And Matt and Nikki Moore were in their early 30s, running 2 successful businesses, happily married with their first baby on the way. Suddenly and unexpectedly, they were faced with one of the biggest obstacles imaginable.
Okay, I have the power. So, my name is Nikki Moore, and my husband Matt and I started Live More Co. And today I want to tell you a little bit about our journey. Matt and I met in college at Northern Arizona University. We were in anthropology class together, and he came in and took my seat, which I thought was really rude. And so then I had to sit next to him. But as fate would have it, I was working at Dillard's, and my manager said, hey, you're gonna train the new guy. Okay, no big deal. In walks Matt. And we started talking because we did a lot of late night shifts together, and we became best friends and later fell in love. We graduated from college. Matt got a degree in finance, and I got a degree in psychology, as did half the room in here apparently. We quit our jobs, to much of our parents' dismay, and started 2 businesses. Okay, it didn't happen that easily. So right before I quit my job, Matt quit his job. He was going to take the new position, and then his job fell through. What that meant for us was making the choice to not go backwards, but to take a risk and keep going. But it worked out. He grew, and my business grew, and we noticed something changing. Our quality of life was much better because we had taken that leap of faith to get into somewhere what we wanted to be. So then we got married and followed social norms, decided to have a baby. Everything that we had worked for was happening for us. But then something started to change. My really happy-go-lucky husband became irritable, tired. He started complaining about back pain, which was not like him. And then he started to share some more personal things. He was having cramping and changes in his bowel movements and blood in his stool, I encouraged him to go to the doctor. So on December 8th, 2015, after a colonoscopy, to the shock of his doctors, Matt was diagnosed with colon cancer. He was 32 years old, and I was 7 months pregnant. But it wasn't just colon cancer. It was stage 4 colon cancer. It had spread to his liver. Here we are facing this brand new gift of life and the uncertainty of death in our family. All in the same sentence, all in the same breath, all in the same seat of the couch. The lesson from cancer that we were learning was that kindness was so important because you never know what people are going through. There was a shift in us. We realized that every day you get to wake up and make a choice. You get to choose to wake up, be a victim of your circumstances, mundanely go through your life and be miserable. Or you got to choose to wake up and live. On August 25th, 2017, Matt passed away. He left behind myself, a 14-month-old boy, countless friends, but most importantly, a message to share with you all. And without further ado, I'll give it up to Matt.
Started out as a passion project for myself, and it's developed into what I hope to be a legacy, not only for my family, but for basically a generation. Live More stands for living your life to the fullest. You only get one life to live, so you might as well make the most of it. When you get a diagnosis like cancer, all those fears and concerns as far as what you can do with your life go out the window. And that's what I want to give to other people. I want them to live as if they could get whatever they want out of life. And that's the message of Live More, is to get as much as you can out of life. Whatever life you live, just get as much as you can out of it. Live it to the fullest. First thing that runs through your head when you get diagnosed, and I think it's true for any cancer patient, is how severe is it? How do we treat it? And how long? I was diagnosed 2 months before my son was born. And the impact to our family is pretty tough. You don't expect a 32-year-old to be faced with something like cancer. And then with the birth of our son being so close, it was a happy and very scary time. He was born on February 13th, 2016. Healthy, big baby boy. And it was seeing him for the first time was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. There's an unconditional love that just naturally occurs when you see your baby for the first time. And I guess it's hard to describe, but it's the most incredible feeling I've ever had. I would wish that my wife and my son follow their passions and their dreams. Don't hold back on anything. A lot of my life was spent being a financial planner and thinking long term and delayed gratification. And I would hope that people would, not necessarily delay all that gratification, maybe live a little more in the present rather than, waiting for 30, 40, 50 years down the road. So I would hope that they would get more out of life now and be in the present and just live more.
Thank you all for letting us share our story.
Wow, we're going to change the energy up a little bit. We're all all inspired to live more.
Why are you here today? Let's hear it. Anybody have answers? Why are you here today? Women. Be a powerful woman. That's right. What kind of life did we come here to have? How about an extraordinary life? Everybody say this right now. I'm here for an extraordinary life. Talk about how this whole thing started, how I got to Tony Robbins. So I joined Good to GLAM last November, and you had Stephen Hilgard come in, and we got all pumped up, and I knew my life was in a slump because I just was getting pummeled last year. There was just so much going on, and I just didn't, I was missing something. And I was so tired of being in that slump. And when Stephen Hilgard came to the workshop and we all got pumped up, I went home immediately and put my credit card on it. And these girls that said they were going weren't going to go. It's a 4-day event, 50 hours. You walk on fire, walk on the coals. I'm petrified. I'm not going to this by myself. I need girls. I need companions. I need somebody to go. I'm not going to this by myself. And finally, my husband's seeing me stressed out, and he goes, "Listen, you don't have to go. Just because you pay for it, you don't have to go." And I thought, well, no, I wanted to go. I'm going to go to this thing.
And all day, it is now time for we are about to welcome to the stage of man. And you know his name is Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins eventually came on at noon. He goes on and on until about midnight. The fire walk is at 1. Well, it starts at 11. It's pretty amazing. I'm sorry I don't have any more video, but I, honest to God, was petrified I'd run out of the battery, and then how was I going to get the hell out of there? So, the whole thing why Tony does this is because he's fascinated on trying to find out why people do what they do. And I realized if I don't participate and change my mindset, I came here for nothing. And a lot of times we go right to the fear and the holding back because we are conditioned to survive, so we don't want to. We're always trying to protect ourselves, so that's kind of what limits us, but we don't need to live there because we're not going to die if somebody rejects us or doesn't want to buy our service or our business or hire us. So we don't really have to let that brain run our spirit and our life. And you have to identify what it is that really, really turns you on. What is your passion? What do you really want to do? Because now I'm here, I'm like, okay, so I can change how I think, but what is it I want to think? What do I want to do? What do I want? Why am I stuck? All right, who here is a rock star? We're going to get up and you're going to say, I am a rock star. I am a freaking rock star. All right, and you're going to do your rock star dance. Movie rock stars. Gonna do the rock star. Thank you so much, ladies.
So, how'd y'all like that? So tell me what you feel right now compared to what you felt before you walked in this room. Go. What else? Fired up! Fired up! Woo! Right? That's the whole fired up. And I know we had some ups and some downs, but that's what life's all about. So we wanted to reflect that, right? We go up, we go down, but we have the opportunity to go back up and make the most of things over and over. I wanted to do a little recap really quick. I love what Jeannie said, the fact that our thoughts create our feelings. And you all hear me say this, those of you that are good to GLAM or partners in real estate, our thoughts create our feelings create our actions, and our actions create our life. So the question is, what are you thinking? Because you saw how you felt when you got up and you danced and you had a good time. That is literally my morning routine. I turn on videos, motivational videos while I'm in the shower. I get out of the shower. I turn on my pump it up music. I have my playlist, and I seriously think I'm like Madonna for like an hour, right? And then I turn my motivational video back on, and I listen to that all the way to the office. So that's how I get my day started. That's how I make sure that my mind is in the right place when I show up, because there are other people that are counting on me. It's not just me, right? That's my kids. I torture my kids all the time with these videos. It drives me crazy. But I'll tell you what, they send them back to me now. That's a good feeling, because they get it. They understand what it does and what happens to your brain when you put good things into it. Who we surround ourselves with and what we're thinking about absolutely matters all the time. And I think that message was driven home several times. Listening to Nikki's journey, she talked about the highlight reel on social media. Sarah, I think you brought that up too earlier. You guys, if you watch Facebook, I don't put my misery stuff on there. I tell you about the good things, all the highlights, right? We all do it. Don't judge your life by somebody else's, period, let alone through social media, ever. Deal? Really? Okay. And she also said, take a risk and keep going. And that was following her 32-year-old husband with a cancer diagnosis and 7 months pregnant. That's powerful to me. Take a risk and keep going anyways. And they found the good in it, didn't they? For her to be able to bravely stand up here and tell that story, which I know she's done more than once, man, I mean, that's a hard story to talk about. I can only imagine what her stomach feels like when it's over with. Because I'll tell you, mine didn't feel too good for making the best of everything and teaching us to live more and in the moment and in the present. Because that really is what life's all about. We forget all the time the precious moments. Sitting in the room right now, who are you sitting next to? Just feel it. Just stop and feel things sometimes. Enjoy the moments, because we're always in such a hurry to get somewhere or get something done or get to the next destination that we forget to stop and say, I'm alive. I have that gift right now. I can do anything I choose to do with that gift right now. I can touch somebody's life. I can tell my kids I care about them. I can pet my dogs. I can dance in my bathroom. I can do whatever I want with this moment right now. So use those moments. Don't waste your life. Control those thoughts. Don't let your life take you over, ever. That was just awesome, Nikki. Thank you very much. Jennifer Phelps, I'll tell you, I've heard her speak 1,000 times, and that's why I asked her to be here today. She's a lot of fun, isn't she? And I'll tell you, she taught me something really important. She did an event one time where we were talking about closing our eyes and walking through our houses and identifying the things that don't make us feel good. Because we can talk about our conscious thoughts and how those absolutely change the way we're feeling in our lives, but what about our subconscious minds, right? We only use, 6 or 8% of our brain. There's a bunch of social psychologists in here, so somebody should know that. Answer that question. So we only use the small portion of our brain consciously, so what's our subconscious mind doing? Pulling all this stuff in that we're hearing, that we're seeing, that we're looking at, that we're thinking about, right? So I'd gotten divorced, and my ex-husband, he's a great gifter, he would give me purses for all of the holidays, like nice ones. And so I had them in my closet over my over all of my clothes. So every single day, I walked into my closet to get ready, and guess what was sitting there? The reminder of my ex-husband, right? Yay! How did my day start every day? Woo! Yeah, that was not my dressing room, what'd you call it? That's my superwoman changing room? Superman phone booth? It was not that. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even notice it. Well, I packed them up. Shelby put them in a plastic bin, throw them under my bed. They're still there. I have not donated them, and I have not sold them. But anyways, we're working on that. We'll get there someday. Michelle, I think it's cool. Where did she go? She drove a fire truck, guys. How cool is that? Right? How many of you know somebody that's mentally ill? Okay, everybody in this room. Everybody. So that conversation was so very important. So how many of you know somebody who has diabetes, who's had cancer, who's had an actual physical problem? Okay. And whenever they're medicated for that problem, how many of you judge them? Because if they have diabetes, they have to take insulin, right? Now, how many people do you think are judged when they have a mental illness and they're diagnosed and they're medicated? And it's serotonin. It's just, right? It's full of serotonin. And there's a lot of ways we can get all of these chemicals without medication. Yes, there are ways to do that, but some people need medication. So I appreciate your talk. It's not our place to judge other people. Now, what are some ways we can get serotonin? Does anybody know? What else? Yep. Yeah. Even the way we stand, the way we carry ourselves, right? Typically, people with a lot of serotonin are leaders, and they're very seldomly depressed. And what about endorphins? Does anybody know what creates endorphins? Does anybody know what endorphins are? Okay. So you get that from exercise. You ever heard of a runner's high? Okay. Well, that's endorphins. It's designed to mask physical pain, right? So those two things combined, they're awesome. They feel really, really good. How about dopamine? Who knows what dopamine is? Yeah. Every time we win, dopamine rush. Now, this is a good thing at the end of the day, right? Because when we accomplish goals, we also get a shot of dopamine. And there's a Simon Sinek video that's all about this, that when you write down your goals and you check something off your list, as you accomplish things, it releases dopamine. Who knows what oxytocin is? Tell me. Bonding? Yep. It's a feel-good chemical. It's the best chemical ever. It really is. I mean, it's released in really high quantities when you have babies. It's responsible for the parent-child bond. We get it when we hug people. We get it when we are bonded to people. Animals even. People live longer when they're in relationships and when they have animals. You've heard this, right? Okay, that's oxytocin. It actually wards off a lot of different diseases and a lot of other things, and it makes you feel really, really good. It can actually inhibit addiction. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, so we want more of that, right? So watch your thoughts, because your thoughts are what creates you to do all the things you do, which is creating all these chemicals, which creates depression or happiness and everything in between. So you've got to pay close attention. Now, who knows about cortisol? Tell me what that is. Stress. It's released when you're stressed out. It's really designed to be in and out of your system really, really quick, right? But what happens is when we live in a stressful environment at home, when we're looking at purses that we shouldn't have in our closet, we walk into the office and we don't like the people we work with, and we feel we're being judged, we're releasing huge amounts of cortisol. That makes us sick. It makes us fat. It does all kinds of horrible things. So why would we do that to ourselves, right? Get away from people and things that don't serve you well. And I think we talked a lot about that. Living in the present moment will absolutely make that happen. Megan had some fantastic messages. Discover your true self. How many of you actually know what you're like with nobody around? I love to work. Everybody judged me for having my computer open all the time. That's what I love to do. They'd love to go on the vacations I could pay for. They'd love to have all the fancy things I could buy them. But they didn't like that I had the computer open. I did learn to do dedicated time. there is a way to balance some things. I don't believe there's such thing as true balance, but I think there is a way to balance things day by day and figure out what's important to you and stay on the right path to make sure that you're giving time to things that are important to you. Visualizing things, that makes you happy too. It releases all kinds of chemicals. It's actually proven that just visualizing things can release the same chemicals and do the same things for you as actually doing them. Just think about that for a second. Like, I'm like, awesome, I want to make out with Channing Tatum. Anyways, yeah. Ground yourself. No negative self-talk. How many of you find yourself going, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid, or I can't believe I did that again. I just can't believe it. The other day I was watching a video, or yesterday actually, and it said, was Will Smith, and he said, don't let successes go to your head, and don't let your failures go to your heart. Internalize that and hold on to it. It's huge. Because without failures, we don't have what? Right, exactly. Developing your strength plan. So taking the time to really develop that. I think that, Jeannie's presentation about practicing that self-plan, practicing how to think positive thoughts. Really practice that. Talk about it, think about it, talk about it with your partners, with your friends, with your family, whoever that is. Because that's quality of life. Every moment of every day, it's quality of life. Use it. Make it work for you. And strengthening your healthy habits, holy cow. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is really taking all of those healthy habits, utilizing them every single moment of every single day. I know that sounds like a lot, but it is possible. I mean, there are going to be things that happen that are going to bring you down, right? You're going to be sad every now and again, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Find the good in it, right? If she can find the good in it, anybody can. Do you agree? Absolutely. All right, guys. I hope we set you on fire today. We're going to have the mixer now. You can go ahead and grab some food and drinks. Thanks for coming. Go forth and be GLAM.